Bonjour, everybody. Welcome to tonight's the Trinity Jezebelle podcast. I am your host, Trinity Stella. Welcome. And I hope everybody's doing great tonight, having a good day. Happy Thursday. All right. So I hope everybody's doing well today. There's the co-host right on time. All right. Well, bonjour, co-host. How are you doing? Oh, I must have hung up on her. Sorry about the technical difficulties. We're still getting things situated. And we are still discussing the topic of healing outside of broken systems. And first of all, I would like to take a moment of silence for today's 9/11, for the date today. Oh, bonjour. Did you hang up on me?
Bonjour.
So, welcome, co-host Faye.
How is everybody today?
Doing good today. I was just acknowledging 9/11 today and maybe taking a little bit of a moment to honor all the people and places and heroes of that day. Reflection of the lives lost, families affected, and the ripple effects of collective trauma from 9/11. So, and then we will flow right into it. It is still discussing the topic of healing outside of broken systems, and in relation to 9/11, kind of reflecting back on what happened back then. You know, everybody came together in a time of tragedy. You know, when the government seemed like it was falling apart. But communities, people, everything, everybody came together to help one another. And neighbors helping neighbors, strangers comforting strangers. Healing came from people, not the system.
Understanding and compassion were practiced at that time.
Yep. So, why is it so hard to for the system to want to help people? Is it the people or is it the system? Does the system?
It goes back to what I said. I don't remember if it was yesterday or a few days ago about when someone beats the odds, so to speak, or overcomes the system. I think the system thinks their system failed because someone succeeded, so then they implement more to make it more challenging so people can't infiltrate that system.
Oh, yes. So like the oppressive, it's an oppressive system.
So like how do we, I guess the question, because I don't think we talked too much on it, is like what are some things aside from the system, like what can we do personally as people to begin to heal and to get to a point where we can be out, where we can go heal in our community with others? because we have a lot of people who are at home that they're sitting there sick, being sick because of a failed system, and they don't know how to pick themselves up from that. We have people who are stuck in deep depressions. We have people who are just suffering mentally, and those mental effects eventually lead to physical effects. So now we have people who are homebound. And then on top of it, it not only did the system create a whole lot of this, and I personally feel that this was that COVID was part of that system in a way. To be honest with you, that's just my opinion. But now we have people who went through COVID, and COVID made even more people not want to go out in the world. So now we have a whole country almost full of people, and our job pool reflects that. Nobody's working. Where are all these people? They're stuck at home. They're unable to begin to heal. So where do we start to heal from inside our homes to be able to go out and help others heal against a system that's causing the damage?
That is a very, very good question. Insightful. I mean, like, where do we begin? Is like you and I are doing. We're going online and trying to reach people that are home on their computer, so then there's problems with internet, making sure that everybody has internet. Um,
So like even aside from internet, let's say someone doesn't have that access to those things, or doesn't like some meditation, and to start building a routine. Like, to me, that was the most important thing, because I've been there. I've been stuck in my home for a very long time at one point, and I had to pull myself out of there, and I was broken because of the system, and I still struggle with things as far as socialization, and not wanting to, now that I have a home, not wanting to go anywhere myself, and that can be debilitating and unhealthy as well.
yes,
So
I totally understand. I mean, after being like homeless for so many years and then finally getting into a home and being, because I felt like that in the last home that I had. I remember thinking that once I got a home, I wasn't going to leave. You know what? How can they get me if I'm going to be home all the time, right?
so we think. So we think.
Yeah, so we think.
Yeah, I thought I was pretty safe in my home there, and somebody came into my personal portal, so to speak.
Well, then,
So,
yeah.
but
Are you talking about Facebook?
yeah,
Oh,
but limiting Facebook is really one thing, unless you're utilizing for, say, a group that you can't get to, or I just, me personally, I find that space very toxic, and it just continues to grow to be, and the more I distance myself from it, better I feel, I like going in and making maybe a couple positive posts, and I just leave it at that, usually.
Yeah.
Usually.
Yeah.
And, hope somebody gets inspiration from it. And if I see there's comments, I'll sometimes go check and see, what was said, or just to acknowledge those people and their positive thoughts. But if there's something negative there, I like to try to walk away from it.
Yeah. It's like handling your social life outside too. It's like when you're outside, out in society, out in public, you want to distance yourself from the drama, from the people that like to feed off other people's hurt. I mean, and like I guess the same is said for Facebook. It's like get on there, post a couple positive things, and get out. I think we get caught up in the scrolling part.
It's because I mean, we've become a very lazy and dependent society um, on the technology.
And so, I mean, back to what you said about people are home and you not being out and able to access to help or system. I don't know the system. So how do we work with that? How do we help those that are at home? Well, we start online groups. And so my question is, how do we help the people who are in leadership positions to lead by example, be a good example?
They have to start partaking in the community and being a part of their community, not just we should see our leaders throughout the year and not just at election time. Let the people know that, and that way, that interaction, they have more of an understanding of what's really, really going on in our community. I mean, we hear things, but until you're right there and you listening, listening to understand is another key. But that interaction with the people and being there is what's really going to make a difference in helping them heal. Because when you start making those connections with people, you start connecting with your feelings. And that's another part of something that we as a society have lost is those connections with our feelings as far as empathy and understanding. If we don't communicate with other human beings, how are we supposed to understand each other and have that physical interaction so that when we have those conversations, we can physically see the expression on that person's face or hear their tone of voice, like the human interaction is a big part of healing, and we have to start healing from inside our homes in order to be able to come out and start healing in the community. But again, like our leadership, there's a great need for healing among our leadership, and I mean we all need some healing, and it would be great to start seeing some of our leadership step forward and say, hey, we really do need to fix this here, and let's all get healthy and not just not just point the finger at the ones who they think, because I think all of us could use a little bit um, work on our mental health and our wellness and our well-being, and help us be a little more patient with each other and understanding and not be so quick to judge right away or,
Mm-hmm. Exactly. I mean, and I guess how you can see that is like one thing is communication. How do they communicate? And are they owning mistakes? You gotta just sit back and observe their actions. Are they living by what they're saying? Are their actions matching their words?
and and that's kind of what I'm saying is that they say they support us in this healing journey and they're all for this, but we don't see our leaders come to these things, and I think seeing our leaders at these groups and at these things would be beneficial for our people, if they see our leaders healing, then they're gonna follow because our leaders are supposed to be leading.
Would you say stealing?
Leading.
Oh, I thought you said if they see our leaders stealing.
Leading.
Okay. Yes. And
that's how leaders are supposed to lead, is to show, not to, oh, you guys go do that over there, that's great, you got that set up, that's really cool, No, you get over there and you demonstrate to the people how it's done. Because all of us, like I said, all of us need healing on one level or another.
as far as a tribal community goes, yes, because everybody's family is connected to a boarding school, and there's trauma there. There's intergenerational trauma, but in a bigger sense, humans experience trauma. All humans do. No human goes through life without experiencing trauma. It's how you deal with that trauma, how you deal with that hurt. Are you hurting? If you're not dealing with it, you're hurting other people. But if you're healing it, you're healing other people. You're putting out there what, like, like cooking. I'm going to go right back to cooking. Whatever you're putting out there goes into whatever you do. And if you're hurting, your pain is going to be transmitted out there to other people, into the things you do, and you create more pain.
It is contagious for sure. I've noticed being like through my healing and like to where I'm to the point where I know I feel good and that things are okay for there's always more healing, but if I go into a house or go somewhere, it's like when you come from that place, you can sense that and you can see it going on, even though it's not a visible thing or happening right at that moment. You can see those things there. So like, I just kind of forgot where I was going with that. I was in one of those thoughts again.
So, like you said, if you go into a house, you see something. If you go into somebody else's house,
Like you can see the mental illness, so it's very visible and it affects it. It's contagious. If you stay in that house long enough, you yourself are gonna become mentally or like ill with that. It, I've been there to where I stayed a few places through my journey here, and the the people in a couple of those places, I I knew there was stuff going on, and I was there for a little while, and I could feel myself starting to regress back into some of those thoughts and behaviors and patterns that I experienced when I was in a situation similar to that, and when I was very ill, and I had to remove myself because it was there was nothing I could do. It was like absorbing.
Mm-hmm.
So these things are in our community, and we're all infecting each other, and by not healing, we're keeping each other sick.
Yep. And the the slick thing about it is you don't see it. Like if you're just passing through somebody's house, like in that sense, if you're just passing through, oh, don't I look beautiful? Doesn't it look beautiful around? Doesn't the whole don't doesn't the community look beautiful? You don't
I,
you
wish
don't
my
see.
senses worked like that.
I mean, you don't see the pain.
for,
You don't see.
for most people, yes. For most people, you see the topical. I understand what you're saying, Trin.
Mm-hmm.
You see just what they want you to see on the
Exactly.
surface.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's not until you stay there a while that you realize how messed up things are, how somebody really treats somebody, how somebody really feels about, truly feel, how you don't see it, somebody's authentic self until you're around long enough.
You
You
can
know,
only contain that. You can only contain it for so long. When you try to not make those behaviors recognized, and they just eventually take over.
I mean, I seen pictures of the governor was in town for what, a couple hours.
What was?
The governor.
Oh, I'm not sure.
I saw some pictures with the governor in town for a couple hours. I mean, I saw pictures with the governor in town, and then I saw pictures with the grandfather teachings painted on the wall. It looks
Yeah.
good. It looks good, but
But are those teachings being practiced?
are they even understood?
Yes.
I mean, have I actually sent my daughter a book. It's called The Seven Grandfather Teachings and the Seven Generations, and it was written by a man who was from Turtle Mountain. His name is James Booklick. I don't know, he's from Turtle Mountain, but yeah, so I mean, we could actually probably benefit from a class of how to actually learn and understand how to live those teachings, instead of just saying it. But I guess it's a start, so I mean, maybe I'm being a little bit too.
Well, that's kind of what family circles, the homes, to where these parents are starting to teach their children from birth, because that's where it starts. What we learn in those first 3-4 years is what we know for like the rest of our lives. You're taught your language. You're taught how to act. You're taught these ceremonies, you're taught these things, you're taught respect, and it all comes right from the get-go. It's very hard to it's very hard to to retrain or reteach or to try to teach these things later on when these children already have English as their first language, or school as their first teachings for mannerisms, or it starts from birth, and we have to get our families healthy enough in their minds to where they can get up and practice these things every day. And even if you just start and say you put tobacco out one day and then you forget, try to make it a habit. There's a small start. Put your tobacco out in the morning as we're supposed to be doing. Put your tobacco out, it becomes habit. Then you build off of that and you build a routine. But you have to incorporate your culture into that routine in order to make a difference with these children.
Yes, exactly. I mean, it starts with little things. So I got the book. I got the book that I found. I got it posted on the screen. It's called The Seven Generations and the Seven Grandfather Teachings. So if anybody's interested in how to live and what those teachings are, it gives a little background on them. And I would highly recommend this book. It should be actually brought into the tribal school, or I should say public school.
We need a tribal school.
We do.
That's the other thing too, is that we don't have enough people in our community to teach at an immersion school or to participate in an immersion school. I see the other reservations to the west of us that have a lot going on with these. There was a position in Redcliffe that just opened here at the beginning of the school year for an immersion teacher, and you didn't need to speak Ojibwe. You just were going to learn as you were teaching. So it's, catching on, but for some reason we're last in the race again. And we need to find a new system, because the system is obviously way broken. It's not working for our people. It's killing our people. It's drowning our people. It's keeping our people ill. It's separating our people. Our people don't even know how to pray for each other. They don't even know how to pray that we do well. We're so ill. That's an illness, not wanting others to do well.
Yep. So in order to do that, I keep going back to, because all this time there's this thought process of trying to fix it ourselves, where you get that stubbornness, like with yourself, where you can do it, you can fix this, I can stop, I can do this, like especially with substance use disorder. In the beginning you think you got control of it and you can stop whenever you want to and you'll get better. And well, obviously you can't, and obviously you need help. You need help from the outside. You need help. You need support. You need love, and you need connection. And in order to heal, you have to open that wound. You have to become vulnerable. How do you become vulnerable without the fear of being, what do I want to say? What's the word? About being attacked, what I'm saying?
Yeah.
How can you be so vulnerable to heal that wound? You're gonna have to say, hey, can you watch my front door while I work on my family here? Or hey, can you help me go outside to this meeting? Can you drive me to this meeting? You need help. And that's where I'm coming back into with community building. You got to build community, you got to build bridges, and you got to with other communities, with other tribes, because like for a long time it seems like our our home community there is always just trying to one up each other, and they're two steps behind everybody.
Yep, we keep pulling their own self back in the race. You know, someone has a good idea and someone don't like it. Let's just squash that person and their idea, and
Take the
then the
idea.
community suffers because we do have a lot of people who have a lot of good ideas here and a lot of input and a lot of people that want to help, but again, it goes back to people think we have to ask permission for these things. We have to ask permission to heal, and we really don't. We don't need the council's permission for anything.
Mm-hmm. And we're finding a way. People are finding healing outside of it, outside of them. And it's really, they're surprised. Actually, I see that. How does and that's empowering to be like, nah, you know what? Nah, I'm good. I got myself. I don't need the the shit you can give me but want to take away when it benefits you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like here, oh, we'll help you. Here's a house, but then you get on your bad side and then you got cops and whatever knocking on your door, pulling you over. But anyway, I just, I just got to say that, when I got my house and I felt that way about getting into my house, saying, yes, I'm going to get in my house and I'm never going to leave. I'm just, how can they get me? They can't get me in my house. Oh, they did. They got some warrants. Searched my house when I wasn't even there. Couple times.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But anyway. Communication, yes, communication, communicate with each other. Why is it so hard to own a mistake or say, hey, man, you know what? I was wrong. I'm sorry. Why is it so hard to say, I'm sorry? I was wrong. Because
It might, I remember growing up, and I shouldn't laugh, but a lot of times we were told sorry isn't good enough. I remember hearing that a lot.
could that have been because we kept doing it anyways? Because we were
Maybe.
really,
Maybe.
because we really weren't sorry.
Yeah, because I kept doing it anyways,
Yeah, but
That could be a reason, but I remember hearing that a lot, and it wasn't just from my parents. I remember hearing other adults say that too.
and that could be something we could teach, when you are, that's part of leading by example, is when you say sorry, your changed behavior backs those words up. You don't say sorry and go do it again, because then your words mean shit.
Yeah, it goes back to what I talked about last night about apologizing to that person when I was sober because I wanted to change the behavior and I had to change what I was doing in order to change that behavior. So that was how I started my journey of being alcohol free.
Yeah, that's actually wise, because when you have to look at yourself and actually own that behavior, I know that shit hurts, man. You don't like to see I don't like to see the things I don't like about myself, but I don't like to feel like shit about it either.
It was embarrassing as fuck. That's all I can say. It really was. I mean, it still is, but there was a lesson there, and like I said, I'm glad that it was the people that it was, because they're good people and they're very understanding and forgiving, and they were appreciative of my apology.
Yeah, heck yeah. So that's humility and courage, because you got to be humble to admit your mistake, and it takes courage to actually communicate that mistake. And then you got to be brave enough to change the behavior, and you got to be truthful enough. So I mean, it's like all the teachings are right in one lesson.
And the other thing is too is I knew there was a chance that I could have got told, get the fuck out of here or get out of my face, and even though we have good intentions of apologizing and our apology is there, doesn't mean that those people have to accept your apology, and you need to accept their feelings towards it, and and that's their reaction, and just know that you apologized and move forward and learn, keep that lesson in your pocket, that you don't do that again, because you already know from this past experience. But not everybody is gonna accept that apology all the time, and it can be a very hurtful place to be, and you have to learn to deal with that sometimes as well,
Man,
in a healthy way.
that's an excellent point, actually, very, because a lot of times when somebody doesn't want to accept it, I can see myself or other people say, well, fuck it then. I'm just, I'm not sorry, and I'm going to go do it some more.
Yeah, and that's not how we learn those lessons.
Yeah, exactly. But you have to be in that healing mindset to feel that kind of that rejection, I guess. But
Yeah,
but discern that you did as much as you could. You were to, you said you were sorry, but you can't control their response to your sorry. You just hope that they accept it, and if they don't, then you put the ball in their court, and you've done as much as you could, and now you just kind of deal with the trying to move forward.
you own your shit and you move forward and you don't do it again.
Yes, stand in that truth. Fucking A, you own your shit. And you hold on to it too. I
Yes.
mean, yeah. Good one. Good point. Good point. Good questions. Good discussion.
Do you have anything interesting in your day today?
I had an early day. I don't know. Tell me about your day, please. I want you to share about yours. You look like you had a very interesting day.
I went for a bike ride and then a walk in the woods, and now
Uh,
I don't know, it was just really nice to, like today, started out kind of gloomy and cloudy, and um, I've been working on a lot of beadwork lately, that's very healing for me. To find something. I used to do a lot of beadwork. I used to bead for a living, pretty much. And I haven't in a long time, and when I say a long time, I want to say, oh, so I was like maybe 21, 22 the last time I beaded, and let's just say I'm between 45 and 55, somewhere in there.
And you've been beading now?
Yeah. So yeah, I've been beading, and so anyways, up in the sky breaks, try to get out because winter's coming, and if we go into winter feeling some type of way, we tend to carry it with us through the whole winter. That feeling can stick heavily, and that's when we get into that real depressive state. So, been trying to get out a little bit and enjoy outside and being in the woods again to help lift my spirits a little bit and do the back to things I enjoy. And it's not much, but it's just the fact of getting out there again.
Nice. Yep. Not only connect with yourself, you connect with Mother Earth and all the spirits around you.
Yeah,
Connection.
man.
Connection.
The I don't know if anybody's interested, but coral mushrooms were out like crazy today.
Coral mushrooms?
Coral, yes, Coral.
You should send me a.
And
Oh,
the lobsters were coming out. There were a lot of lobsters just starting to poke out of the ground. So for anybody who's out there interested in mushrooms, they're out there.
and the blackberries I saw.
Yeah, some blackberries hanging up like some auntie's nipples, I tell you.
Oh yeah. Oh shoot.
Yeah, it was very nice this afternoon just to get that little break in the weather and get out there. Not much time of that left. It's gonna get cold pretty quick here, and things are gonna change, and so it's happening. And I hope everybody's prepared. Get your wild rice and your deer meat ready.
Yep. Well, good talk tonight, Faye.
Oh yes, ma'am. Always a good talk, sister.
Awesome.
Well, I hope everybody is healthy, warm, and has some food in their belly tonight. And we pray for those that don't. Hopefully, we get some more listeners here. Pray for some more listeners. And pray for some guidance on some answers, big answers on how to start healing our community as more as a whole rather than individually.
Yep, build some bridges too.
My best pointer, my best advice for people who really are trying to start to heal and don't know where to start, and like I said, are stuck in their homes, is routine. And start with putting your tobacco down. It's the biggest but the smallest routine you can practice every day. Take your tobacco out and go pray. Make it be the first thing and the last thing you do. And start adding things in between. You know, if it's even if it's just take a shower regularly at the same time every day and be ready for the day, even if you have nothing to do. Those things help with mental health quite a bit. Taking a walk, even if it's a short walk down your driveway, or making yourself do like a small load of laundry every day, or just some kind of routine. Whatever you want to be part of your day, start with that routine. Start small. Those small things turn into big things eventually.
Good words, the sister.
Love you all. Everybody have a good night. Giga Wobble Man.
Giga Wobbleman, talk to you later. Miigwech, love you.
Prayers.
All right, guys, miigwech for coming, walking with us tonight. We appreciate you, and in honor of all people of 9/11, all of us coming together, it shows, it proves that we can come together in times of hardship, struggle, and outside of systems. You know, we connect with each other and show each other compassion, love, sympathy, support. But so yep, still today's Thursday. You know, we got one more day. We're gonna talk about healing outside the system, helping one another, supporting one another, and what it takes. And if you have any ideas, suggestions, please drop them in the comments. Come on stage, come on to the show so we can have a little more perspectives. The more diverse our perspectives are, the more diverse solutions we can come up with. Sustainable answers, solutions that'll work for us. You know, take our power back and figure out what works for us, because we sure to heck know what don't work for us. All right, guys. I love you all. Peace. Love, 100% respect. And tomorrow we'll be on early. There will be, I'm not going to say what time, but yeah, it'll be earlier than 7 o'clock. Tomorrow's Friday. So, all right, guys, you have a good night, and miigwech for walking with us tonight. We appreciate your support and your love, and we wish everybody well out there. Peace. Giga Wobbleman. Almost forgot.